Hi, this is Jason from Effective Dashboards. In this video, we're going to look at how we create dynamic titles for our visual. And these dynamic titles allow us to change the actual title depending on a parameter. So for example here, if we are looking at the backlog hours, it displays backlog hours in the title. And if we select the display for work orders, it changes this to indicate we are looking at the backlog work orders by department and discipline. Okay, so we've got this dashboard here, and if you're interested in learning how to create this dashboard, then I'll leave a link below and you can sign up to my free course. But in this dashboard, we've added in a toggle at the bottom here, and I've covered how we create this toggle in a previous video, again, which I'll link to below, and also there'll be a pop-up here at the top right-hand corner. And if we click hours, which is the default, we can see the values that are being displayed in each of these graphs here are the number of hours associated with the maintenance backlog. So that's the number of hours that are required to go and carry out this work to maintain the equipment. If you click on work orders, then this toggles to the number of work orders, so the number of actual orders or number of pieces of equipment that need to be maintained. Okay, so that'll display the difference between these two here. Now, what doesn't change though are the titles. Now, it just always sticks with backlog. They're just standard titles that we've actually coded into each of the visualizations. Now, there's a requirement here to update this to actually explain whether it's hours or whether it's work orders. So to do that, we're going to go and create a new measure. So we're going to go in here and I'm going to go and create a new measure. And we're going to create a measure for this title here, and we're going to replace this title with a dynamically generated title that's going to be based on this measure here. So we're going to start with CNDF for conditional formatting. Now, I always like to start my conditional formatting measures. So this is measures that output an element of conditional formatting, like a title, with the word conditional formatting. And we're going to call this backlog and dep this matrix. So we're crystal clear on what the visualization that we are designing this particular measure for is to be used for, is to be used in. It's for this department and discipline matrix. So once we've done that, we're going to create a variable and we're going to use the selected value function. So we're going to call that cell val, and we're going to create selected value. Now this selected value, again, I covered that in a previous video, but what it does is it pulls or harvests the value that's selected for a particular column. Okay, so the column we're interested here is this one here, which is the measure selected, and we're going to go and backlog measure selected. And that's the toggle value that sits behind this slicer here, the backlog measure selected. So that is going to return either hours or work orders. Now the key thing here as well is that the selected value will only return a value that's selected when only one value is selected. Now I've set up this filter here, or this slicer here, to be a single selection. So if we go into that, so I've selected this value here, it means that we can only select one value. However, just to be sure, I'm going to update this with an alternative, and this will return a default, which is always hours. Okay, so it will always return this hours, even if for some reason there's no value selected here. So that's us got the first variable. The second variable is going to be the result. And that result is going to be the title text. In fact, I've called it result. I don't need to call it title text. And here we're going to start building out the text. So we're going to start with Backlog, because we want it to start with Backlog. And then we're going to join, using this ampersand, the selected value here. So it's going to be the value that we selected as part of whichever one of these toggles was selected. And then we are going to put a space in here, and then we're going to join that using the ampersand. And we're going to add this a space again, and it's going to be backlog, and then it'll be hours or work orders, and then we're just going to call it by department and discipline, and then we're going to close it off. And then we're going to return from the variable definition part of the measure, the DAX code, and then the actual result is going to be what we're going to return. It's going to be the okay, so that's what we're going to actually that's going to be the measure that's essentially going to return this title here. So let's click OK there. So the next step is we need to go in and click on this chart, this matrix here, and we're going to come down to title, and in the title we're going to click on this FX, so that's for conditional formatting. So you can see the title text has just been typed in, and that is the static text there. But we're going to use an option here, and there is only one option available called field value, and we're going to use this measure. And because I've started it with conditional formatting, we can quickly search for this measure. And we're going to select that measure that we've just created as the title text. And we can see it has now replaced it with this backlog hours by department and discipline. And if I click on this toggle here, the numbers change, and it now dynamically changes the title to be backlog work orders by department and discipline. So a really handy extra bit of detail to add to your dashboard, particularly if it's going to be printed out or if it's going to be used in some sort of report. But just to clarify exactly what is displayed on each of these visualizations. And you can do the same here as well for these graphs here, and just follow exactly the same process. Create another measure for each one of these, and yeah, just go and replace the title with this conditional formatting. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to keep up to date with the latest video that I release, latest videos, I release them every week, and click the subscribe button and then click on the bell, and I will talk to you in the next video.